Hello everyone, my name is Al Gomez. I am the Academic Technology Coach for NISD Special Campuses. Thank you for joining me today in this quick overview of Explain Everything. I'm going to show you the basics. Explain Everything is a very powerful app. It has many features, enough so that over 6 million people are using it. Explain Everything integrates with Google Suite, Dropbox, iCloud, OneDrive, and YouTube. And you can also use Explain Everything with live collaboration. Join me as we explore this app. So the first thing we need to do is we need to launch the app. So I'm going to go ahead and do a search. There's my Explain Everything. So once the app launches, you're going to come to this home screen. If you have projects that you've already saved, it's just a matter of scrolling up and down. Before you do anything, what you want to do is you need to make sure that you're logged into the app. So to do that is you click on the little dots, and then you'll notice that there's nothing here. Let me move this out of the way. It doesn't have my name or anything like that. So that's how I know I'm not logged into the app. This little area changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over here. So to log in, what you're going to want to do is, if it opens up and you're way down here, just scroll up and then tap on, actually, let me show you something else. So mine defaulted and it opened in library. If yours happens to open up in home and it looks like this, you can check again up here at the top to see if it's logged in. And if it's not, same thing, you can scroll up and down. And if not, what you're going to need to do is come down here to the bottom to library, and then come over here to the button that says My Drive. Go ahead and tap on it. And then before you start doing any of this stuff, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to log in with your Google account. Okay, that's the best way to do it. That way you're integrated with your G Drive. So go ahead and tap on that. And then it's going to give you these notifications. Hit continue, and then it's going to take you through the login procedures. And I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. When you get this message, go ahead and allow it. And so now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put in your e-number and log in through Google. So mine just logged me in because I had already previously been logged into the app. So now I can tell, okay, I'm logged in, here's my name, my email. This is one of the good things about logging in is you have 1.35 terabytes of cloud storage, and you want that because you want all of your projects to load into the cloud instead of taking up space on your iPad. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close it. So now if I come back up here to check to see if I'm logged in, when I tap on it now, and now I see my name is at the top. So I know, okay, I'm logged in. So that's the first lesson. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the let's see, we're going to add integrations. So to do that, I'm going to come down here to home. Actually, I could have done it from the library, but that's okay. I tapped on home. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap right here on settings, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. So on settings, you have this little bar at the top. It usually defaults to general, and here's where you could change the area where the toolbar. So the toolbar is this little blue thing, and it'll make more sense once I show you the features of Explain Everything. But you can change these if you're a left-handed user. You can change the control bars to the top. If you're mirroring, you want to make sure this is mirrored. This is checked on mirror. And then all these other things. You can come back up here. These are more advanced kinds of features. And I totally recommend you set up appointments with your coach and they could help you through them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap right here on integrations. So on integrations, since we're logged in with Google Drive, this one should default to on. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done. That's the second lesson, how to log in and integrate. So now we're going to dig into how to create a project. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to create a new project. So go ahead and tap on New Project, Blank Project for now. So what it did is it opened up a project. This is called a canvas. This right here is the pencil. If this square is highlighted, then these other options pop up on the side. So for example, this little blue border is around the black pencil. So that means anytime I color, the line is going to be black. This is red, blue, etc. If I want to make these lines a little bit whiter, I have other options. Up here, the top one is a dot. So when I tap on it, now I have options. You can barely notice, but it's blue, meaning that's the one that's selected. So if I want it to be really big, I tap on that, it turns blue. Then when I come back over here, now my lines are thicker. This ruler is a really neat tool. So what I'm doing is I'm pinching with my fingers. So let's say if you wanted to make a really straight line, you put your ruler down and then you just kind of just move it, and then you could. So if you're a math teacher and you want to show angles that are really nice and clean and then come back and then talk about it, you can do things like this. That is the first tool. That's the pencil. The next one is the marker. The marker works the same way, except it just is more transparent. So for example, on drawing, you see how it's a little bit more opaque. So that's the difference between the pencil and the marker. So now, let me get rid of the ruler. So now, the eraser. Okay, so if we wanted to erase parts of it, what I did is I tapped on the eraser. This middle one is selected, so wherever I drag my finger, it erases. There's different options, okay? You can make your eraser even thicker so it covers more. That's one way to erase. Another way to erase is using this X right here. If you tap on the X and then you just drag your finger across, you get this red box, and whatever falls inside that red box, as soon as you let go, and then you tap on, as soon as you tap on this X, it deletes everything inside that box. So that's a really easy way to erase it. So if we had a shape, which we don't, you could fill it. So I'm going to create a little shape. I'm going to draw a, so if I wanted to fill the inside of that circle, bucket, if I wanted it to be green, I tap on green, and then I just tap on there, and then it, I tap inside the circle, and then it colors it in. So if you wanted to do maybe a Venn diagram, oh, I didn't want to do that. I'm going to make it dark. Okay, so Venn diagram, and then I wanted to color the circle on the right blue. So now it's blue. And then I want to color the middle yellow. So now it's yellow. Okay, so you can do things like that. Let me go ahead and erase this. So I hit the X, I drag my finger across. These objects fall inside that red box. I tap on the red X and then they delete. The next tool that we have is the shape tool. So when I tap on it, you get these options. Again, these are the colors. So for example, this one's going to have a yellow border with a gray on the inside. And what highlights on the top, or actually what fills in, is right now it's an arrow. So if I put my finger and then I drag across, it just drew an arrow. If I didn't want an arrow, I just tap on the arrow picture. And these are the other options I have. So I can do a square. A square with a little bit more rounded edges. Stars. Okay, so I can do things like that. If I wanted to use freehand, so this little tool right here, so let's say I wanted to draw a square by hand. See, I drew a square by hand. As soon as I let go, it just kind of cleans it up. Now this one right here, that's the pointer tool. So if this pointer that I'm using is part of the iPad, if if I wanted to use, if I'm recording a project using Explain Everything, I can use its own little pointer. So by me putting my finger, just holding it there, you can see the little index finger. If I wanted to change it to, let's say, a laser light, I can do that too. That's just a matter of tapping here. A really important tool is this inspector tool. So the inspector tool, it gives you the options to delete, edit, or arrange. So once you start making shapes, if you want to bring a certain shape to the front, if you're layering, let's say I put a star and then you have another star right here, but I wanted the blue one on top of that one. So that's where the inspector tool comes in. I hit the arrange, I tap the blue star, and then I bring that one to the front. So now my blue star is in front. Edit, you can duplicate it if you wanted to. It saves you from having to draw a lot of things. You can copy, paste, you can flip them around, and you can add clip art. You can come in and mess with these. You can lock them in also, so if you're sharing this project with students and you don't want them to move certain things, you can lock the shapes. Okay, so that's the inspector tool. The inspector is pretty powerful. You could add animation too. So for example, if let me clear this off. If I wanted my star to rotate, okay, so here's my star. Drag it right here. If I wanted it to spin, inspector tool, tap on it to select it, set auto rotation. I get this little tool. So when I'm going to move it over here just to show you. If you can tell, there's a little plus sign right in the center of the circle, and then you have these little arrows, and then you have these little arrows. This one right here is the one that you can use to move around. Okay. This plus sign is important because that's an axis. So if you want the star to spin on its own axis right in the center, you just put the plus sign right in the middle, and then with the other circle, you flick it either up or down depending on where you want the shape to go. And then depending how fast you flick it, that's how fast the shape goes. Okay, so you can add animation, and then if you want it to stop, you just tap again right here if you want to go the other way. Really slow. Okay, so you can do things like that. You could, if I wanted it to rotate like a big circle around this way, you just move the plus sign, and then the star will rotate around the plus sign, so you can get even more fancy with it like that. Okay. So that's in the inspector. So a lot of really powerful tools in the inspector. All right, now let me go back up here to the plus sign. So if that wasn't enough, the plus sign, when you tap on it, you get even more tools across the top. So here you can add pictures from your iPad, or you can take pictures, you can add videos, or you can make video. I'm sorry, down here in the existing image and video, that's where you can pull media from your iPad. Here you can create them. So if you want to use it as an Elmo, you can use your Explain Everything as an Elmo. You just turn on the video camera, and then it opens up a little camera right here. You can add an internet browser. If you're a mathematician, you can add equations, and then you can even add audio recordings. If you want to use a file and upload it from your drive or wherever, you just tap on it and you can upload. So if you want to use, I hate to say a worksheet because worksheets sometimes are overused, but you could upload worksheets or pictures, or if you're, let's say, in a science class and you want to take a picture of a lab experiment and then upload it here, and then the students could diagram it. You can do things like that. Existing images, clip art. There's a lot of clip art that is included in Explain Everything down here. So you can add like people over here, and then you could, move them around and make them talk. You can add music, images from the web. even a placeholder. If you're going to use your Explain Everything during class, placeholders help remind you that, oh yes, right here's where I want to do a certain thing, and then this just is there to tell you, oh, I gotta tell the kids to add a certain thing or whatever, or open up a file at a certain time in your lesson. Okay, so that's what that is. Delete that. Go back to the plus sign, and then you can do a video overlay. So you can add videos in here. So really more powerful tool. So you got a lot of things that are available to you. Most of the time what people do is they'll use this as a lesson during class, just like you would a board to present, right? So the power of Explain Everything comes with your ability to record a lesson. Okay, so that's the next thing we're going to do. Is I'm going to show you how to record a lesson. To record a lesson, what you want to do is I'm going to use a really simple math lesson. So if I wanted to show a student 2 plus 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here at the bottom. At the bottom, you'll see this little red dot and then the little image of a microphone, the little icon. As soon as I tap on it, it's going to turn on the microphone on my Explain Everything, and it's going to start recording everything from audio to the images that I'm drawing. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. So class, today I'm going to show you how to add numbers. So if I have 2 lines and I want to add 2 more lines, 1 plus 1 equals 2, 1 plus 1 equals 2. Okay, so then what I did is I hit the stop button. So this is my lesson. That was a really terrible lesson, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So what I noticed is across the bottom, I have 31 seconds of audio and video. If I wanted to see that, I'll hit the play button. And by the way, I sped up the video a lot just to save time on this recording. That's not the way it plays back. And I want to add 2 more lines. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Okay, so that was the lesson, and man, listening to it was even more terrible. So I'm going to show you how to edit. Okay, so if I want to edit this video, 31 seconds, I could, if I'm done and this was the lesson that I wanted to show the kids, then I could share it. But since I call these lines and I'm thinking, nah, I want to go back and call them 11s. Down here, you see this little up arrow. So as soon as I tap it and then I scroll, I can see certain things. So at the bottom, I can see this little white, that's my audio track. And then on the top, I see these little blocks. Those are the images. And then as I swipe from left to right, I can, like up here, you can see things disappearing because those are the actions that I did while I was recording. If I come back across, okay, here's where I started talking about the 2 lines, and instead I want to call them 11s. Okay, so I could go to the exact place, let's say right here. I think this is where I started calling them lines because I can see some audio if I play it. So if I have 2 lines, and actually I notice right here I called 2 lines. So instead I'm going to get rid of 2 lines. So since I have this little red track, I just hold. I'm going to split. And so what that just did is now you see this little gray line. I'm going to hit play. 2 lines. So right there, I'm going to split again. Delete. Compact. Okay, so now let's go back. And I want to add 2 more lines. Okay, there's another thing about 2 more lines. Split. Wait. Okay, so in here I can add, instead of 2 lines, I can add 11. But anyways, this is more of an advanced feature. And I kind of just wanted to show you how to record. So let's say I'm done, and this was my video that I wanted to. I have 18 seconds. 1 plus 1. Okay, so let's say I'm done, and I want to send this out. Then I could share. Okay. So when I hit share, now I see web video link. I can collaborate, I can do that, or I can export it as its own video file, but the easiest way is to share it as a web video link. So if I tap on that, it preps the video, and then now I have the option to share the project's link. So if I tap on that, I have my options up here. Since I'm going to share it with my Google Classroom, that's usually the easiest thing, or if you wanted to use Padlet, Hangouts, any other one of these apps, I'm going to tap on Classroom. So what it did is it gave me this option. So it's going to share to my classroom. If I wanted to pick a certain class, mine defaulted to this experiment classroom. I could just hit those arrows, and then I can pick whichever class I wanted. I can make an announcement, create an assignment. I'm going to tap on create an assignment, and then what it does is it'll attach the link right here, and then I just post the assignment. I'll hit send. So now my students will get the link, and then they can work on the assignment, or watch the video is really what they do, and then they can work on the assignment. Okay, so that's how you record, share it out. And then the last thing at the bottom is the little slides feature. So if I tap on the slides, I've only done one slide, right? So that's why it only shows one box. If I wanted to present using slides, kind of like a PowerPoint, this is slide 1, this is slide 2. I hit the plus sign, and then it creates another slide up here. So now I could, let's say this is step 4, right? And then I could record or whatever. And then when I come down here, I have 2 slides. And then I have, let's say I have 30 seconds of recording here, and then I have 30 seconds of recording here. Whenever I export it, it'll export as one file, okay? If I want to delete it, let's say, oh, you know what, I don't want slide number 2. I'm going to create a, let me do a 3rd slide just to show you. So let's say I didn't want slide number 2. You just long press, and then you can hit the little trash can to delete it. You can select more than one at a time, and then remove them. And that's how you can work with slides. If you wanted to change the background, let's say, oh, you know what, I didn't want it to be white. Here's where you can do that. You just select the slide, or here's the little background palette, and then you can come in here and change them. And so now it's blue in the background. So that's where you can do that kind of stuff. You can change, change it back to white. You can change and add a pattern if you wanted to. Okay, so if you wanted to do certain things with the dots, things like that. Okay, so this is just the tip of what Explain Everything does. There's so much more you can do with it. So please make sure and make appointments with your tech coach so they can show you. I hope you found this quick introduction to Explain Everything useful. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you're right to feel that way. The many features of Explain Everything can bog one down. I encourage you though to move forward with the app. It can redefine your lessons and provide real engagement for your students. If you're comfortable with it, then dive right in. Today, I showed you the basics of the app. Please tinker with it. Do not be afraid to make mistakes during class. It's better to use 1 or 2 features of the app than to not use it at all. After you practice, use it in your class, and you're ready to make bigger impact with your students, I encourage you to make appointments with your academic technology coach. We will partner with you, and then we'll dive deeper so that way we can make an impact with your students. This is Al Gomez, Academic Technology Coach for NISD Special Campuses. I hope you have a fantastic 2018-2019 school year. You're going to get every kind of iBook that's available. So right here there are there's 4 that are available. Just go ahead and launch YouTube. So the next thing you do is you're going to go up here